Hi. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the role of a business analyst in the context of AI, which is called artificial intelligence. Because as in when we know, as far as the role of a business analyst as well as other profiles nowadays in the field of IT and non-IT, impact as well as the importance of artificial intelligence is growing again and again. So in this regard, being a business analyst, whenever we are transforming our careers into the field of artificial intelligence, what is that skill set do we require to acquire? What is that are we going to learn under artificial intelligence? Being a business analyst is what something which you will be learning in this video. So before I'm getting into the role of a business analyst in artificial intelligence, let me explain you what exactly BA do. This is something useful to the people who are new to business analyst, because business analyst is a kind of role who act as a liaison between business and technical communities. Means if we are being a business analyst, we try to understand the business situation which customer is in, what kind of problems are they facing, and what kind of solutions are something which is essentially required. This is what something which being a BA we have to do when we have interacted with the stakeholder in the beginning. Based on the interaction we had with stakeholder, whatever the business situation was identified by us, even by understanding the business objectives, goals, etc., we have to come up with some technical solution. Of course, in context to the artificial intelligence, the solution is something connected with artificial intelligence. That's how the transformation was taken place. So understanding over the technical solution from the context of artificial intelligence, wherein by interacting with the technical team is what something we need to see. So that technical team will provide us the feasibility over the implementation. So once we have identified with the technical teams, interacted with the technical teams, architects are the people who develop solution architecture for any of the project or a problem. Subsequently, application will be delivered and it will be completed and it will be delivered to the customer. This is what generally the role of a business analyst in any of the organization. So if you are a BA, we act as a liaison between business and technical communities is what something which being a BA we do it. Now, when we talk about the activities being a business analyst, we are interacting, we'll be interacting with the project sponsor, wherein try to understand the business requirements, even we interact with business users and all, so that user requirements will be understood. At the same time, whatever the solution identified by us, to translate that into a technical format, technical solution to implement with. Whatever the required functional and non-functional requirements to develop, that will be interacted with the development team and testing team. At the same time, to know about the scope of the project, we'll be interacting with project manager, followed by other stakeholders' expectations, constraints should be taken into consideration. So this is all about a high-level overview about the role of roles and responsibilities of a BA, which we have to be good with. In this regard, we need to have some good communication skills, both written and verbal communication itself is required. Verbal and written communication is needed. Next, understanding the requirements from different angle, either it can be a business requirement, stakeholder end user requirements. This is all something which is essentially important for us. In addition to that, being a business analyst, we need to have some good functional skills, functional perspective, all that, followed by the technical skills. This is where generally artificial intelligence come into picture. Because whenever being a business analyst, from the context of artificial intelligence, when we talk about, as well as trying to understand about the impact of artificial intelligence in the field of business analyst role and all that. As we all know, we play a vital role in bridging the gap between business and IT teams, helping the collaborating with stakeholders while stating the requirements and all. These are all the common things which normally will be have to be done with. Now, in addition to that, being a business analyst, the kind of idea we have to make up our mind, right? So this is where generally the first thing what is that we need to have is what something which we call it as problem solving, right? So this is what something from the artificial intelligence point of view, because if you want to implement artificial intelligence and all, one of the prime and important element being a business analyst we need to acquire is to understand the kind of business problem what customers have having. So based on the business problem and all, how this artificial intelligence has altered the role of a business analyst from the context of providing solutions for them, and how this artificial intelligence can be useful for us to provide solution for any of the customer. This is what something which we need to have. And the second point, these are all the generalized underlying competencies, I can say, right? These are all not something to connect with any artificial intelligence technologies or something. So these are all something which is called underlying competencies. So the next was about out of box thinking. Because being a business analyst, it is always important for us to have an out of box thinking knowledge, so that to having exploring about the other avenues of opportunities to provide the solution by understanding the business need, business situation, etc. This is also one of the core important underlying competency which being a BA we have to be good with. Next, after that, the next one about the critical thinking, right? So at the same time, critical thinking or critical decision making skills. This is what something which we must be good with, right? So because decision making is one of the key and important element being a business analyst, we have to be good and we have to be performed with equally. Next, one more important element as far as the generalized compensative generalized competence is all about. Stakeholder collaboration, either it can be an external stakeholders or internal stakeholders. So these sort of things is all something which we require. So these are the underlying competencies which being a business analyst we have to be good with. Things, problem solving skills, out of box thinking, critical decision making, stakeholder collaboration. These are all something which is quite common for any BA one has to be good with. Now, if we want to become business analyst in artificial intelligence, one should have a knowledge over data analysis. This is one thing which you have to be known with, because how you are going to analyze the data, how are we, because business decisions has to be taken. So as far as business decisions and all, there must be some concrete evidence of information in a statistical approach which has to be evident. So for that, you need to have some data, and data has to be analyzed properly using different tools, right? So different statistical tools or the kind of programming, what is that, like Python, or it can be some data visualization. For that we use Power BI, or else in context to the data analysis to have some knowledge over SQL, right? So some SQL and all everything are used for queries. At the same time, Power BI and all everything will be used for the report generations, etc. At the same time, we need to have a knowledge, the basic knowledge over Excel and all that. So at the same time, need to have a knowledge over Python, because Python is a basic programming language, especially when we are working on data analysis projects. Python is what something which normally we need to have and we should be good with. So this is where generally the context of data analysis is what something which being a BA we have to be good with. In context to the data analysis itself is concerned, this is what something which we have to be good with. This is one thing which being a BA in context to the artificial intelligence is what something which we must be clear with. Next, when it comes to the business analyst in context to the AI, first of all, we must be knowing about the kind of different AI technologies which normally are we using nowadays in the market, right? So different AI technologies, because I personally advise uh, not to have all the technologies expertise, because practically speaking, it is somewhere, I don't say impossible, but it is where somewhere difficult for us to learn about the kind of AI technologies, all that. There are limited technologies, one or two is wise enough for us to implement. This is something which we have to be known with. Next, we need to know about the industry terms and all that, right? So what are the different industry terminologies are we going to use? At the same time, how this implementation approach is different from a regular solution to AI solution and all, by understanding about the current capabilities, limitations. All these things are something which is essentially required when being a BA, whenever we are transforming ourselves into artificial intelligence point of view. At the same time, we have to have a knowledge over the kind of best practices and as well as methodologies. So followed by the kind of so artificial intelligence tools and technologies, whatever is required, whatever is needed. So to what extent all these technologies of understanding about the differences between as is and to be, because there is an existing application which normally we are using in regular intervals. When it comes to the implementation part itself is concerned, there are different artificial intelligence and all, everything is what something which we have to implement it with. In this regard, it's always important for us to understand about what are the different AI tools which are required here, because even something like machine learning, right? So that sort of knowledge is also required, because nowadays there are machine learning, right? So big data, machine learning. So all these things are something which is something essentially important, is what something which we have to be known with, because machine learning is one of the important element which we can see nowadays, is what something we have to be good with. This is where, in this context, we need to have some environment in context to the cloud even, because cloud, either it can be an AWS or Azure, any one I can say, because I don't advise people to have a knowledge or AWS or Azure, but at Azure, AWS, any one is enough, because as far as training I am going to give in context to business analyst in artificial intelligence, I will prefer AWS, because AWS is one thing I use, and some, for some people and all, even I go for Azure also. That's a different thing altogether. So having a knowledge over the cloud environment is what something which we have to be good with. This is what something which we have to be known when it comes to the implementation and all, because most of the applications nowadays are moving to the cloud environment. So when we are moving towards cloud environment, it's always important for us to understand about the kind of cloud service providers who are working on the applications, is what something which we have to be good with. So it's not only about the data analysis part and all that, but it's always important for us to understand about the cloud environment in the context of AWS, Azure, right? So these sort of things which are essentially required. So whenever we are moving towards artificial intelligence, whenever we are moving, being a business analyst, when we are moving from artificial intelligence point of view and all everything. So this is also one of the key and important element which we are using. So along with this, apart from the kind of artificial intelligence tools, as I stated earlier, because this is majorly focused more on the data analysis part, all that stuff. One of the prominent tool which normally we use called TensorFlow. So this is one of the tool, right? So open source library, which is used majorly for data scientist people and as well as software engineering and all people. So these people will have a complete understanding over the kind of information what is to be provided, right? So how this data analysis has to be made in this regard, how this data analysis techniques and processes which has to be followed here. So all these things is what something which we have to be known with. So these are something which, being a business analyst, when we are moving towards artificial intelligence, is what something which we have to be known with, right? So one is about data analysis part, having some basic knowledge over SQL, Power BI, some basic knowledge over Python. Those are required, because Power BI, Tableau, anyone, but I always follow Power BI. So this is all for preparing for dashboards and all. SQL used for the queries, all that. Python is a programming majorly used in data analysis projects. Some AI technologies like artificial intelligence technologies, so which can be used over here. At the same time, any cloud applications like AWS and Azure and all everything, right? So this is all something which normally we use here. Followed by the TensorFlow is one of the open source fileware tool which is being used by the data science people when they are working for application development. So this is what something which normally we uses. At the same time, when it comes to the AI technologies and all, I would prefer Oracle AI. So this is one of the prominent use of it, right? So Oracle AI is what something which normally we use it for this purpose, all that. At the same time, if there are any kind of clinical environments and all, we use normally SAS is being used for the clinical operations and all in reference to the business intelligence point of view and all everything is what something which we will be using whenever we are working on the applications and all. And some sort of knowledge over machine learning is also something which is essentially required and essentially needed for any business analyst in artificial intelligence is what something which we have to be good with. So this is what the role of a business analyst when it comes to the artificial intelligence is what something which you need to have, which you need to learn, is what something being a business analyst turned artificial intelligence professional, one has to be good with. Apart from the regular skill set of a BA, whatever is required, whatever we have and all, apart from that, these are all the skill sets and all everything are required. So I hope this is all about this video. And this video, as I stated in the beginning, repeating the same, this is intended for the people who wants to move their career into business analyst towards artificial intelligence is something useful to them. So if you have any questions, if you have any queries, if you have any training as well as coaching needs in reference to business analyst, artificial intelligence and all AI, please reach out to the contact details, which will be provided in the below to this video. Thank you.